So a couple weeks ago, I saw Fantastic Beasts. And, this was not what I was planning to review first. As usual. I wanted to do a comic, or a movie I really liked, or something like that, but no. No. But you know what? This stupid movie has been stuck in my head for a week. And apparently people really, really like it, so maybe I'm just a cynic, but this movie seriously gets to me. Also, I don't read the books. So if I start yelling about something that is explained in the books, I don't care. I believe a movie should be able to stand on its own without me having to do preliminary reading. I believe that for all the superhero movies and for all the other book movies as well. However, I do tend to do a little bit of research when I talk about something. But you know what? No. No! This movie pissed me off so bad, I don't care. I don't care what kind of laws are in place in 1920. I don't care if Fred is a Thunderbird or the Golden Eagle from The Rescuers. If this movie wasn't going to bother explaining these things to me, it didn't deserve any more time and effort than I'm already spending on it. Let's just get this over with. So Fantastic Beasts is a movie in the Harry Potter franchise, much like Rogue One is a story in the Star Wars franchise. It takes place in 1920s New York when there are very strict rules about magical creatures and muggles, or no-mage as they are called in America. Magical creatures aren't exactly treated well, but that's nothing new. Magical creatures cannot be imported or exported, and it's a huge deal on the black market. No-mages are a complete no-no in America. You cannot befriend them, marry them, have kids with them, nothing. During the movie, there are a lot of plots, but two main ones that the movie focuses on. Newt Scamander, our protagonist, has brought a briefcase full of magical creatures to New York, and some have gotten loose. Meanwhile, there is something making a giant mess of New York, and the magic police of New York, MACUSA, suspect that it's a magical creature of some sort. I'm going to skip the rest of the summary because, honestly, this video is already going to be longer than I planned. So, if you haven't seen the movie, be warned because I am going to spoil everything. Also, things are going to get a little ranty. If you want to get right to the meat of why I hate this movie, hit the link right here to go later in the video. No? Okay, but I warned ya. Remember those rules I mentioned? Good, because our cast sure don't. In fact, all the characters range from being very smart to moments when they get hit with the stupid stick, forgetting abilities they have or how to preserve endangered species. Looking at you, Newt. You just freed Fred from some sort of prison in Egypt, and you decide to release him back into the wild without any government protection in a country where he is most likely to get captured again. And before anyone starts up about how Thunderbirds are beings that are really strong and powerful, keep in mind, this is one of the many things the movie doesn't bother to tell us. For all I know, the Thunderbirds in the Potterverse don't have the same kind of powers as Thunderbirds of our legends. As far as we can tell, all Fred can do is communicate bad omens and start thunderstorms. Plus, how the heck did he get captured in the first place? And wow, I should not be thinking out this much logic in a Harry Potter film. Okay. Calm down, Slug. This isn't that big of a deal. You can forgive some stupid moments where, seriously, Tina! You are a cop! Why are you suddenly taking Newt and the No-Mage back home? You should be taking them to the police station before they... Oh, and look, they snuck out in the middle of the night. Gee, it's almost like wizards have the ability to teleport or something. Dang it, Tina, you seem really nice, but the writers keep giving you all these moments of senselessness. And really? You decide to walk in on your boss during a meeting with the world leaders, and you're surprised? What do you think she was doing in there? Baking a cake? And of course your boss, Serafina, gets mad at you. I'd be on her side, Tina, if she wasn't such a horrible boss. Tina tried to tell you about Newt, and you wouldn't even let her finish her sentence. So far, all you've done is talk about how the dark wizard that's on the loose couldn't possibly be in New York. Oh, yeah, that's the other plot. There's a lot of plots in this movie, but one of them is that there is a dark wizard somewhere in the world, and it's suspected he's in America. And Seraphina's like, absolutely not, we have the best security ever. Ha ha ha. And then Newt tells them what is actually causing the problem in New York, and it's actually a wizard with a parasite called an obscural. And no one believes them because they can't possibly exist. Maybe you should show them the obscural in your briefcase. It's not until later that we find out that the obscural you have can't possibly live outside the magic bubble you made, so there is no harm to anyone by showing them. Oh look, it's Percival Graves. The guy who is obviously the bad guy accidentally reveals his evil plan to Newt, so he decides to have them executed. And the executors, who heard everything, doesn't find this suspicious at all. And this isn't a case of the 1920s crooked cop. Everyone and Makusa, except for Tina and her sister, are just a bunch of yes men that follow orders blindly and don't know from nothing. Oh look, the obvious bad guy is revealed to be the Dark Wizard. Hey Seraphina, maybe you should have a mind reader join Makusa. Oh wait, you do! Her name is Queenie, she's Tina's sister, and you have her serving coffee. Is there some reason no one knows she can read minds? Because the movie sure didn't tell me that either. Everyone in this movie is stupid. You're stupid. You're stupid. You're a terrible cop. You're an even worse cop. You did nothing. You were pointless. And you are a sweet, innocent cinnamon roll that is too good for this world and did not deserve the ending you got. Okay. Rant's over. Because it's time to talk about the real reason I hate this movie. Yes, despite everything I just yelled about, there are also many good things in this movie. The fantastic creatures are in fact pretty fantastic, even if they sadly are only in the movie for a short time. We get to see this little niffler that literally absorbs money and jewels, this cute little plant guy called a bowtruckle, a giant, erframent? It looks like a rhino mixed with a hippo, mixed with an elephant, with a giant glowing horn. I don't know how to pronounce it. And we get to see her stomp around Central Park. There's this cute little bug called a billywig. Demiguise that's been trying to babysit a giant okami. Plus, Newt's carrying around this awesome little creature called the Swooping Evil. You have got to be pretty badass to be called the Swooping Evil. And those are just the main ones. We get to see a large variety of creatures living in the briefcase as well. Eddie Redmayne and the rest of the cast do a fantastic job when the writers keep the characters straight. There's some awesome scenes with the nomads Jacob and Newt hanging out with the creatures. Jacob is just a delight, not just being the eyes for the audience, but just being completely in love with the world of magic. And Eddie does an awesome job portraying Newt as someone that is far more comfortable with animals than with humans. There's this one awesome scene where he has to do an erumpant mating dance, and it's so funny, and I have no idea how he managed to keep a straight face during the whole thing. Even Tina is just a giant sweetheart, and one of the many unsung heroes of this movie, which is even more frustrating when the writers need her to be bad at her job to forward the plot. The CG and the fashion for the time are on point. There's this one goblin woman singing at a bar, and then there's Ron Perlman's character, and seriously, why did we even need the obscure subplot? This could literally have been the movie. Just Newt and friends causing hijinks around New York. Everything could have easily been cast aside and summed up as an okay movie. On par with the original Harry Potter films. until the ending. So, long story short, the obscural running rampant is this kid. His name is Credence. His adopted mom fancies herself a witch hunter and is heavily abusive towards all the children in the orphanage she runs, but especially to Credence, who doesn't even realize he has magic powers. See, it's his suppression of his own magic abilities that created the obscural. He also has a connection to Tina as well. Tina was demoted from her job because she witnessed Credence being beaten by his mom and used magic to protect him. Since Makusa had no idea Credence had magic blood, he and his mom got their memories wiped and Tina lost her job. During the climax, Credence's powers are out of control. Both Newt and Graves are trying to help him get control. Newt because he knows the obscural is killing Credence. And Graves because, well, as I said, he's the bad guy and he wants the obscural's power for himself. Even Tina shows up to win Credence over. The whole thing goes so out of control that all of New York is watching the destruction unfold as Makusa charges in to save the day. When Makusa points their wands at Credence, even Graves orders them not to. And then Makusa kills Credence. No, not just kill. Explodes into dust. He doesn't even get to have a tragic death scene or some kind of noble death. He's just dead. This kid, who we have seen abused, belittled, manipulated, and used, who was forced to suppress his own magic abilities, was outright murdered in front of us and dissipated into a puff of smoke. And you might say there was no other way. But according to the movie, there was. Newt has an obscural with him because he learned how to separate obscurals from their host. But we never learned how. The idea of separating the obscural from Credence is never discussed, even though it's something the main characters all know Newt can do. Tina, who's protected Credence in the past, who obviously cares about him, doesn't lift a finger to help until the last second. Tina and Newt never discuss a plan. Even Graves, who just wanted the obscural for the power, still manages to be good in my eyes because he tried to protect Credence, even if it was for very selfish, evil reasons. After Credence dies, he even gives a speech about whether the laws in place are really protecting magic users before it's revealed he's the dark wizard everyone's looking for. From there, the story just tries to wrap up everything else nice and neat. There's a stupid Deus Ex Machina that erases all New Yorkers' memories from the events. Jacob, the other sweet, innocent cinnamon roll of this movie, is ordered to have his mind erased as well, because Serafina orders no exceptions. Jacob complies and forgets everything, but we are meant to take solace in the fact that he gets to open the bakery he's always wanted. And that Queenie, who's taken a liking to Jacob, still keeps in touch. Tina and Newt say goodbye, but not before name-dropping Newt's book. Maybe I am a cynic, but this ending hurt. It hurt because the movie was building up to something different. Star Wars Rogue One got really dark, especially towards the ending, but still managed to get their message of hope, and the ending made sense to the movie. Here, it doesn't. Even if Credence had to die, which I disagree with, it's done in the most lackluster, underwhelming, and insulting ways. Jacob, who became my favorite character, is forced to forget everything. So what if Queenie is visiting him? There are still laws about contact with no mages, and no argument is brought up against them. Serafina apologizes to Newt, but never learns a lesson. She never takes away that maybe the laws in place are wrong. Not to mention, Newt could easily just put Jacob in his suitcase and snuck him to England, where he probably wouldn't have gotten his mind erased. After the movie showed me how bright it was, how hopeful it was, in the end, all the characters are just powerless. It's just... I hate leaving this on a downer, but seriously, there's not much else I can say. There's a stupid joke at the end where Newt tries to use a piece of twine to keep his briefcase closed instead of, magic. Jacob gets his bakery, and it's kind of sweet to see he has some kind of memory of what happened. He even bases some of his goods on creatures he met with Newt, which was really cute. I guess what I'm worried about now is whether all these side stories in the Fantastic Beasts franchise is going to feel so overwhelmingly depressing. And I hope not. I hope that Jacob gets to return. I hope that Tina comes back and we get to see the intelligent character the stories seem to want her to be. And I hope the franchise goes back to what the Potterverse has always been, about good triumphing over evil against all odds. I'm the Sluglady. That was Fantastic Beasts. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to go hug these Okami until I stop crying. Come on, guys. Okay, this is a really quick edit I'm making, like, the day before I post this. So, apparently, Credence didn't die. Even though he appeared to die, and there was absolutely no hint whatsoever that he survived, he survived. In fact, there's a cut scene where he gets on a boat, and that's it. You know what? I still retain my original opinions about this movie. This does not change my opinions because that scene was not put into the movie. And so the very downer feeling of the entire ending is still there. Again, this is one of those issues where the movie doesn't bother to tell us important information that would change our view on the entire film. Ugh. This movie sucks so much at payoffs. So much!